We've all made choices that we might refer to as mistakes, and sometimes we hold those so-called mistakes against ourselves through harsh self-judgments and unforgiveness toward ourselves. When we blame ourselves and feel ashamed, we actually lower our efficiency and our ability to fulfill our life purpose and to be happy and at peace. When we blame ourselves for anything, there is this guilt that occurs that can attract self-punishment as a self-fulfilling prophecy, or even something that unconsciously we believe we deserve. This is no way for us to live. It certainly doesn't inspire anyone else, and it doesn't help others as has been designed for our life purpose. So this meditation is to help you to untangle any form of judgment, any harsh energy, any unforgiveness towards yourself. And we're going to begin by getting relaxed, perhaps closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and not trying to make anything happen, going within. Feeling so good to be in this place of safety. And you can sense the presence of your protective guardian angels right next to you, watching over you, making sure that it's safe for you to let go. And as you're breathing, we ask that our Heavenly Creator help us to see ourselves as God and the angels see us, through the eyes of our spiritual truth. And your spiritual truth is that God created you guiltless and innocent, pure and perfect. And even though you have done some actions that you may not choose today based upon what you know now, in spiritual truth, you are still God's perfect creation. What you have done or not done cannot undo God's handiwork of divine perfection. We are powerful, but we're not powerful enough to in any way undo God's perfect work. All of us are equally divinely perfect, and any so-called mistakes that we make are simply opportunities for us to learn and to forgive. And the biggest lesson of them all is to forgive ourselves. For when we hold anything against ourselves, it turns the light off within us. And this is not what God deems for any of us. We are not to be punished. We are to learn from the experiences we've had. We are to make a commitment to not repeat those actions, and perhaps to teach others so that they don't go down that path either. Learning from our past experiences is a big difference energetically from holding it against ourselves or feeling guilty or ashamed. When we learn from an experience, we grow as a person and we automatically forgive ourselves. So let's do that right now. We call upon God's right-hand angel, the Archangel Michael, with his sword of light and love. Archangel Michael, we call upon you now to sever any attachments to guilt within or around me. Please, God, please, Archangel Michael, help me to forgive myself. Help me to release any harsh judgments I'm holding toward myself for my actions. Anything that I've done or not done that I regret, let's take in a deep breath. And on the exhale, let's let this go. Now, letting it go doesn't mean that we are forgetting this because the forgetting is part of forgiveness, but only to the point where we have learned from the experience, so we don't keep repeating it. Taking another deep breath and asking God and Archangel Michael to release us from any binding cords, any fearful thoughts or feelings or anything within us that is clouding us with shame, with guilt, or believing that we are less than God created us or less than someone else. We ask that God and the angels help to detox us from any harsh judgments that other people have said toward us. Any sort of verbal abuse that we've received from family, from friends, from co-workers, from social media, or anywhere where you've received any sort of criticism, we now surround that criticism in a big bag of divine light and put that criticism in this big light bag. And the angels are now taking that bag away to heaven, releasing you from that criticism and no longer identifying with it. That's not who you are, because God did not create criticism. God only created love. Criticism comes from fear, and fear is the opposite of love. The only power that is God's love, which is omnipresent, meaning in you. In spiritual truth, you are love, loving and lovable. Let's breathe on that together now. I love myself. I accept myself. And I forgive myself for what I think I've done or not done in the past. I hereby commit to learning from my past experiences, and I hold the intention of paying attention to any red flag warnings that my angels may give me, so that I don't walk into the same sort of scenario in the future. I now make this commitment to be honest with myself, so that if I am in an uncomfortable situation that is violating my beliefs, morals, and what I believe is right, that I will speak up and that I will get myself out. Breathing. Feeling your strength. Feel how strong you are. A big part of forgiving yourself is to know that you are strong enough and smart enough that you're not going to repeat what happened in the past. And any form of pain from anyone involved with your actions, we call upon God to help those folks to release any unforgiveness towards you, and you to release any unforgiveness toward them. It's not saying that the actions were right, that their actions were right. It's not about blaming. Blaming doesn't help anything. It's a low energy. Blame comes from fear, that fear of being punished, so wanting to push the blame onto someone else. It's a form of defensiveness that is very, very unhelpful in resolving situations. So let's breathe out and releasing blame. No longer indulging in that old, immature habit of blaming others or blaming yourself. There's no need to blame because there's no danger. All is well. And if someone's pointing fingers at you and someone's criticizing you, you do not have to be with that person. You do not have to listen to them. That is a form of verbal abuse, and you, darling, do not put up with abuse any longer if you've been putting up with it. You are God's beloved child, You are very important with a much needed life purpose. We cannot afford to wallow in these low vibrations of blame or guilt or self-punishment or criticism. Those are mind games that create chatter so that you cannot hear the voice of God. To hear divine guidance, we must detox your mind of all those low vibrational thoughts. Let's go ahead and ask Archangel Michael with his sword of light to cut any cords of attachment to wanting to justify, to blaming, to pointing fingers at yourself or others. All of these old ways of dealing with life, we're going to cut those cords now and breathe and let this go, letting defensiveness go, letting go of any sort of hard energy, any sort of tension in your stomach, any tension in your jaw. Please know that it's safe for you to relax. It's safe for you to open your heart. And it's safe for you to open your heart to love toward God, toward yourself, toward others, and toward life itself. I love you. God loves you. Please, my prayer is for you to love yourself.